What do you think is going to be the end game for Donald Trump? How do you see this stuff playing out? I know, you know, a lot of people, hey, don't mix my business with politics. You're going to mess up my funding. You're going to mess up my relationships. Where you see a lot of folks kind of, particularly on black issues, where there's so much risk, where, you know, I've heard of entrepreneurs saying, hey, you know, I can't weigh in on this because, you know, it's going to harm all my relationships and my standing and my ability to raise capital.
On both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you see the Trump endgame playing out?
It changes every day. It changes every day. Like my answer last week before Charlottesville would have been a different answer than today. And you mentioned in some of our comments earlier about how challenging talk about politics can be as a founder because of, you know, both sides. And especially for me, I'm kind of like a militantly middle kind of person, which is even more difficult. I've said in the past, I'm a big Malcolm Jenkins fan. You know, he does during the Pledge of Allegiance, he puts his arm up like a black power fist. Yesterday, one of his white teammates put his arm around him at the same time. He's from Charlottesville. And I always thought that was just an amazing and positive thing. I haven't traditionally cared for the Kaepernick version. Well, one of the things is, I don't believe that Colin Kaepernick's been blacklisted, for instance. I think that even if he has been, there's certainly something at play, but his play is so poor that it's not as cut and dry as like a Cam Newton, for instance, was being blacklisted. You could say like, bam, period, Cam Newton should be in the NFL, right? Yeah. And so that muddies the waters. I've said to people in the past, we'll say on the left side, that look, people chose Rosa Parks for a reason, because she was kind of so perfect a vessel for the movement. There were people before Rosa Parks as well, but they chose her because she could be kind of digested by the larger groups. So I get a lot of flack from my folks on the left. On the right, I see people that are just simply not being intellectually honest about the argument. Right? I would have a lot more respect if people said, if Donald Trump just came out and said, look, I'm for this group, I'm not for that group. That's what it is. But to pretend like, you know, there were kind of good people in this group of Nazis, that kind of thing, he alienates not just an entire segment of the population, he also alienates his fellow Republicans, the ones that are kind of more principled. And so I see the end, going back to your question about the end game, the demise of Donald Trump won't come from the Democratic Party because we all know where they stand, we all know where they're going to vote, and the numbers aren't there for impeachment or otherwise. His demise will come from the certain elements of the Republican Party that will join with those other Democrats. You know, you look at a Nevada Republican, kind of a Mormon Republican, a lot more religious, kind of Mitt Romney style Republican, come out very strongly against Donald Trump. You look at an Arizona Republican, right? A McCain, a Jeff Flake, very different kind of Republican. And so I think it's those folks working with Democrats that will end up being his ultimate kind of impeachment